not use the name of the Lord in vain. What then is the name of the Lord? The first name of the Lord revealed to Moses was I am. So, I am sick. You've messed up the name of the Lord. I am ashamed. You have messed up the name of the Lord. I am afraid. Anytime you say I am, you have imposed God. So be careful of what you say next. So I am healed. Let the sick say. Let the poor say, I am. I am is the name of God. That's the power. Let the weak say. So what is I am? God's name. So when you say I am, whatever you say after enters the ears of God. Whatever you say after I am becomes your reality in the future. What you say after I am is created in the spirit, timelined to become your next incident.
So this video claims that the third commandment found in Exodus chapter 20 verse 7 means that whenever you say something negative after I am, you have used the name of the Lord in vain. Let us inquire this matter with the Christian next door. Now, I like to state 3 problems with this claim, so please bear with me. And then the first problem is that people in the Bible used to do this. For example, Paul in Ephesians chapter 3 verse 8, he says, to me, though I am the very least of all the saints, this grace was given. 1 Timothy chapter 1 verse 15, Paul again says, Jesus Christ came into the world to save sinners, of whom I am foremost. 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 9, Paul says, for I am the least of the apostles, unworthy to be called an apostle. Let's go to King David. Psalm 38 verse 8, he says, I am feeble and crushed. I groan of the Talmud of my heart. Psalms 109 verse 22, for I am poor and needy, and my heart is stricken within me. What about our father Abraham? Genesis 18 verse 27, Abraham answered and said, behold, I have undertaken to speak to the Lord, I who am but dust and ashes. So here we can see that even these people who were so close to God in the Bible have used the I am expression in a very negative way, to which he claims that is using the name of the Lord in vain. The second problem is in the Hebrew text itself. When God comes to Moses in Exodus chapter 3, verse 14, God says, say this to the children of Israel, Yeh has sent me to you. Now, this word Yeh is the Hebrew term that is translated I am, or more accurately translated as I will be. But then God says to Moses in verse 15, Yahweh has sent me to you. He says, say this to the children of Israel, Yahweh has sent me to you. Now the Hebrew word Yahweh, Hadveh, which means he is or he will be. And we see that the name of the Lord that Moses used throughout his 5 books, that is Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, is the word Yahweh, which means he is or he will be. It's even the name of the Lord that is used by Moses in Exodus chapter 20, verse 7, when he says, do not use the name of the Lord your God in vain. So what I'm saying is the revelation of God that is translated I am or I will be is only used by God in the first person with regards to who God is. But we as humans, when we use the name of the Lord, it's going to be he is or he will be. Which leads me to the third problem, which is now the commandment is more about you than it is about God. It puts the focus on you getting better in your life than God being glorified. So I do not think that it's right to take the sacred commandment of God and use it to motivate people on how they can better their life. But here what I'm not saying it's wrong to encourage people to practice self-affirmation, but do not do so by misrepresenting God. So, what is then to use the name of the Lord in vain? And for this, I have two answers. First, it has to do with emptying God's name. By that I mean you don't put respect on God's name. Using God's name in false worship like the Israelites did in Exodus chapter 32 when they were worshipping that golden calf. They made an altar for it and they called it Yahweh. They called the golden calf Yahweh. So that was devaluing and disrespecting God's name because you are dedicating something to God that has nothing to do with Him. So it has to do with dedicating something to God that has nothing to do with Him. And also in Matthew chapter 6 verse 9, Jesus said, "Hallowed be your name." And this means that the name of God has to be respected above everything and be compared to nothing. That's why Paul Washer would like to say the most silliest thing you can ever say is to put God first. And I'll explain that in some other video. And then it can also refer to blaspheming or saying lies about God. And secondly, when you talk about name, the word name in Hebrew and in Greek, we are speaking about more than just a mere word that they identify you by or that they call you by, but it speaks of character, function, power, or authority. So when you say you are a Christian, which you should say, you bear the name of Christ because you are called Christian because we are of Christ. So when you say you are a Christian yet you do things that do not align with his character, you are taking his name in vain. So now I hope that you guys learn from this and that the Holy Spirit will illuminate your hearts to understand this. Bye.